Okay, I'm giving some time to let it connect. Okay,
Never
excellent
told.
connection. Don't touch any app. Let's finish the show.
Don't touch any app.
Don't open up anything. Okay, we are live. I think I'm gonna join again. Okay, we are live now.
Yeah, and if they're asking if they need to refresh, are they using the same link?
No, you gotta go different link.
I'll write down different link.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to share it again.
Okay, those coming back in, hopefully everything is now okay. It seems
Yes.
okay on my side for now.
It's a bit laggy on my side.
No, is it a bit laggy on your side,
Yeah. It's a bit staccato.
Okay.
It's okay on mine.
I'm on low latency today. Right now it's low latency.
Okay. Everybody that is watching, I can see the numbers coming in. So everybody, when you watch the stream now, is it okay? Is it smooth like last week? Or is it still a bit laggy on everybody? So everybody just make a little movement like Joe, like that. Joe is not freeze. Joe is just he just don't move. So yeah, so
No, let's do dumb
everybody
face.
just rock side by side. Oh, we just talked about somebody being possessed and rocking, and now we are doing that. We are not possessed, ladies and gentlemen. This is not a possession show. But we are just testing on our stream. Better, everybody better. It's okay already. Okay,
I'm on low latency. Worst case, I got to go to ultra low. Last week was ultra low. There was no problem.
Oh, okay.
Ultra low, you only get 720. So I'm trying to give you guys a little bit more higher resolution. That for those of you who are watching on TV, you get a better quality.
Okay. So far it's okay. I think we gotta take it from Joe.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Then it come to a point whereby recapture the story. We have a tall figure in Alia's grandparents' house. It's not Alia's house. It's Alia went for a visit, and Alia saw a tall figure in the window whereby it's just something that is very tall with the red eyes. So Joe.
Okay, I'm going to re-summarize what I said. I mentioned about the fact that this story reminds me of this class of entities called the shadow people, where they actually seem to be of a darker dark than the shadows, and I was wondering if this was them. And I kind of mentioned about Nick Redfern, an author from the UK, who spoke about a class of beings or entities that are very tulpa-like, in that they form from people's kind of collective unconscious or subconscious, right? And they feed on negative energy. And I mentioned about how red eyes seem to be something that evoke a very evolutionary fear in human beings, right? When you see red eyes, it's about, the cave people sitting at the campfire and seeing the red eyes of predators just kind of outside the campfire light, right? And I'm wondering if these could be a class of entities that are actually subsisting and surviving off human fear. Because what happens when you see something like red eyes in a shadow figure? I mean, that's two things together, right? And I think it evokes a very evolutionary fear, something that is so wound into our DNA, into our very kind of makeup. And yeah, it could be so many different things, right? Sonia made a very good point. Shadows, trees outside, animals out there. Who knows?
Okay. So you are saying that it's a being that is feeding on people's fear or whatever negative energy there is.
Could very well be.
That is what Alia see in the grandfather's house.
And she did mention it's a humanoid figure. It's a human shape, right?
But there's no face, there's no clothes. I think there is no
Was
mention
there
of
a
no
mention
clothes.
of red eyes?
Yeah, but there was a mention of red eyes, but with the red eyes. Okay. My take on this, which leads to the next No Yohanto, is somehow what I feel that is actually in the grandfather's house is actually a saka that is kept by the grandfather or the step grandmother. It felt like a step grandmother because Alia did not say it's a grandparents. It's my grandfather and the wife. So it could be a new wife, and it could be something that it's together with the new wife that comes into the house. And you see, because Alia is not the house owner, and it could be the Saka could not kind of like process,
Recognize her?
yeah, recognize her. This is not the owner that I know. So if you come into the owner house, I would need to, like, check a little bit, and see whether this is somebody that I need to chase off. I need to do something to hurt, to harm. But he's just checking on, because you see, the incidents were not a lot of times. Like the father too. The father, it's not a lot of time. But when the father saw the figure was just there. Nothing bad happened to the father. I believe at that time the father stays in the house with the grandfather, right? But
Yeah.
Alia, when Alia go to the house, Alia is actually a visitor. So the Saka, or the being, actually did a little harm on Alia, which he pulled on Alia's hair. But it never happened after that. It's because I somehow felt that the owner come and talk to the Saka and say, okay, I sorry, I forgot to tell you, the Alia is actually my family member, so just leave her alone and don't touch her. You can be in the house, but don't touch her.
That's actually really interesting. How does the Saka really recognize? It's like, do you have to tell them, or do they
Yeah.
need to be sent an email and memo? What? How do they get that notification?
And I want to also know, like, what is the Saka looking at? Like, is it checking my browsing history? Like, like when I have private time, is it looking at me?
If you okay, one by one. Sonia's question is, how do you tell it? It's like how you tell a bodyguard lah. When you have a bodyguard with you, your okay. Let's say you have a bodyguard with you. Somebody came into your house. The bodyguard will have to check on that person, right? Until you tell the bodyguard, okay, this is my friend. Let him in. He's fine. Then after that, the bodyguard recognizes this person is a friend. Okay, but you have to tell it to him.
Yeah, but is it like a proper procedure?
No,
When
yeah.
you were
I
doing your
believe
research for Saka, did any of that show up?
not really. You just have to talk to it.
Okay.
There's
So you don't
no
have to do a ritual.
Yeah,
No, there's no ritual. You
to
have to kill a chicken or anything.
to invite or to get rid, there's a ritual. But to talk to it, it's just you have to talk to it.
Right.
Right. So on Joe's question is, I do not know how well involved Saka in technology. So I do not know whether he will be able to look into your browser history and
Thank God it doesn't.
like,
What would it find there?
yeah, BBC in Joe's Pornhub history.
Yeah,
So I don't think
British Broadcasting Corporation. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Hard Bodies is a weightlifting channel.
Big Black Clock.
The Big Black Clock. That's correct.
Yeah, big black clock.
Yeah.
I think somehow it felt like that is actually a Saka. Yes, in a way that it's a guardian that guards the house, and I do believe that this is actually belongs to the family. But I do not know why the auntie actually mentioned, oh, the dad will come and take over the house, which would also leads to what Eugene mentioned earlier on, whereby it's because or Sonia mentioned, because the house is big but not a lot of people in it. That's why spirits or stuff will stay in it. And since there's a lot of rooms, why not stay here? So I suggest that for people who have big houses or mansion, you should do like what Hugh Hefner did. So you should throw parties every now and then to bring people in, to get the yin and yang energy balance, so that
yin and yang energy. Is that what we're calling it now?
We're
calling it the yin and yang energy
so many ways
ritual.
Of
okay,
so that's what you came up with. Okay.
So is it yin yin yang, or yang yang yin, or yin 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 yin?
He's talking about bringing the 69 in, Hugh Hefner, girls, the yin yang coming in.
Yeah.
That's why I always tells my girlfriend when I'm having a party, just to balance up the energy.
You show up in your underwear. That party, is it that one?
Old joke already. This week new joke already.
I'm just reminding our ghostlings.
Okay. Ghostlings. Is that what we
Ghostling.
are calling our fans now? Ghostlings.
I think so. I like that.
Yeah, I like it too. So I think that is for me. I believe that it is a Saka, and I think we can move into the next segment of
Yeah, I
Know
mean,
Your
for
Hantu.
correct. A lot of us are thinking, what's the Saka? In fact, Ray Lim is asking, is Saka Toyo?
Yeah.
Now to clear the air for all the ghostlings out there watching the show tonight. The next segment is called Know Your Hantu, and this is where we every week we share a different kind of Hantu for you guys, just to sort of inform you guys what's out there, because most of you only know Pontianak, uh, Penangal, Pocong, and that's about it, right? So on Supernatural Confessions, we want to sort of blow your mind with all these other Hantu superstitions, folklore around Asia, Southeast Asia. And today's episode on Know Your Hantu is on Saka. Right? Alvin, take it away.
For this episode of Know Your Hantu, we're gonna talk about Saka. Although the word Saka itself has a few definitions, but for this, we are talking about a being that is believed from Shaitan or Jin's group, which is kept for self-protection. Saka is said to come in all shapes and forms, and it is passed down from one generation to the next generation. Commonly, that is the practice. But there are mentions of Saka can be passed to whoever is willing to take ownership of the Saka from the original owner, as simple as shaking the original owner's hand and proclaim, "Engkaulah sahabat aku, dunia dan akhirat," meaning you are my friend on earth and the afterworld. Saka has to be fed according to the original deal made by the first owner, and they would usually be addressed as Dato, friends, or names that are commonly used to address people that is close to us. Saka has to be passed on to the next person before the current owner pass, or else the owner would have difficulty passing on and the Saka would start to create havoc in the surrounding neighborhood. The longer a Saka is passed on from one generation to the next, the harder it is to be destroyed. And to get rid of it, Saka would be usually persuaded to eat in an achak, a container which later would be sealed and released in the waterway such as the river. Saka is usually obtained to protect oneself, to protect your belongings, or to harm people that the owner wish to hurt, and many others. In old days, Saka is used to help owners in hunting, farming, and other. Example, Saka telinga or ear Saka helps their owner to be able to listen and track animals precisely during hunting. It is a wrongdoing in Islam to have a Saka, for it is similar to be practicing black magic.
Wow.
Mm.
Saka. So I've heard about Saka many times, especially in the Muslim community. They pass down the Saka from generation to generation, especially the Boyanis, especially. Boyanis are known to have jinn guardians. I mean, in this case, it's called Saka. So thanks, Kim, for the very nice mini documentary on Saka. Like what someone called it, I like it. There's this name, Encyclopedia Supernaturalist Time. Yeah.
That should be the
Supernaturalist.
title. That should be the title of our next book.
Yeah. Supernatural.
Supernaturalist.
Encyclopedia Supernaturalist.
Naturalist. Nice. I also like what Debbie Soros says, and I kind of agree with her. Saka is not a friend usually. Once they forgot to feed it, it will eat the owner up. Well, I suppose it's like anything, right? Anything, like if you have a bodyguard, if you don't pay that bodyguard, he's going to come find you
Yeah.
and exact his wages. And I think it's something
That's-
quite similar to this.
That's Iman, Debisaurus Rex's Iman. So he
Oh.
said, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So
I
we
wanted
don't
to
recognize some of these names, huh?
Yeah, I wanted to answer the question because there's a lot of people who is asking whereby it is similar. Is it similar to Chinese Xiao Gui or which is Toyo in Malay term lah,
No,
huh?
I don't think so, right?
Child ghost. It is not. I would say it is actually yes, but Saka is more to like the umbrella that that is all under, everything is underneath this Saka's name. Like for example, if you raise a toyo, it is actually under Saka. It can be a Saka as well. But if you like in the Know Your Hantu part just now, I mentioned Saka Telinga, whereby it's also part of the Saka, whereby it helps you with listening to animals' movement during hunting. So all this Saka serves a different purposes depending on when you ask for it. What do you require that Saka to do? So you know you can like, okay, I want this to take care of the house. So the Saka just come and like, okay, my job scope is just to take care of the house lah, so I take care of the house. But if you ask for like, okay, the Bomo will say, or the shaman will say, okay, maybe this one chicken lah. Then if you say I wanted a Saka who do everything like Doraemon like that, then the shaman will like, okay, this one I need a farm of chicken. Then you have to give a farm of chicken lah. So you know the more powerful your Saka is, the more you have to feed of
it.
course lah. Yeah. You have to feed
Everything comes at a price.
Everything comes at a price, yes.
And I'm wondering if the Saka actually came from the Dayaks rather than the Malays, right? Especially when it came to kind of hunting and stuff like, because my great grandfather, and some of you kind of, if you've been following the channel, my mom did an interview, and you know my great grandfather was involved in a lot of kind of occultism in Singapore and Malaysia. And he actually specifically went and did some training with the Dayaks in Borneo. So, and he had a Saka that he actually passed on. He wanted to pass on to my grandmother and onto my mom, but instead a lineal uncle took over that spirit or that spiritual kind of path. I find it fascinating.
I think yes, I heard of my friends, which is a Dayak, whereby this story came from a friend who witnessed itself when he has a friend. This is a story of a friend witnessing something on a friend. So it's like, okay, let's say like this, I'm that friend. So we are sitting in the room. So this is the room, right? There's Joe, there's Eugene, there's Sonia. We are sitting in a room. So we're talking. Then one friend just say like, okay, guys, by the way, I don't know whether you guys buy in this or not, but you know, recently I have a Saka passed down to me from my father. So then the rest of our friends are like, this is crap lah, no bullshit lah, we don't believe you. Then he said, okay, just tell me something so that I can prove it to you that he is here. So the friend said, okay, simple, just ask your Saka to move anything. So that friend was just there, and he was just pointing at the blanket behind them, right? So they were in a room, so there's bunk beds, right? So there were blankets on the bunk beds. So he just pointed at the blanket, and he was like, move the blanket. I mean, in Bahasa lah, of course, right? So move the blanket. So the rest of them actually saw something, picked up the blanket and placed it on the next bed. That is when the other friend is like, okay, you know what? If it's your Saka, just take care of it. Don't get us into shit and stuff like that. We don't want hear knocking, shadows come and visit us. You know, just keep him where he's supposed to be. So in Sarawak, if you ask a lot of people, the Dayaks and the Malay community, especially, a lot of older generation, they would know the existence, and they would actually have ever owned it. Some of them.
I have a theory about Sakas, and I read about this in multiple books. Not about these books were not about Sakas, about gods and deities and demons. The whole supernatural field. We think that in Saka we are calling upon the powers of the supernatural to aid us, and in the belief of the Thais and the Chinese, where we keep spirits, or even the Malays where we keep toyos, we feel that we have dominance over the supernatural beings. But in some other books and in some other school of thought, these are ancient entities that has long outlived your puny human life, and they don't see themselves as your pet. In fact, when you call upon them and they grant you a wish, you want them to move a blanket from point A to point B, it's like that for them. But in return, they get your entire family line. They get you feeding them. They have you by the balls. You fail to feed me one time, I will crush you. It doesn't sound like a owner and a pet kind of situation.
Actually, it's the other way around.
It's the other way around. Yeah. You call for help, they will willing to help you because it's easy for them.
Exactly. It's like you become their slave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For life. And
Not
people,
just their life, but several generations after.
yeah, because their life is very long. Your puny life, they're going to take your entire bloodline. And some people have used Saka for to get rid of other people's, to get rid of rivals, for break up families. All these are very minute in a supernatural worldview. Your puny heartbreak is an emotion that the spirits world don't understand. But if you want them to do something because of a heartbreak, because of a petty jealousy, they are willing to do it for you because the bargain is always never going to be in your favor.
Yeah.
I mean, let's call it
So
what it
White
is.
Saka.
You are entering into a contract with spiritual entities. That's what it is.
yeah,
You're entering
yeah,
into a
yeah.
contract, and the
Yeah.
contract very rarely is hinged in your favor.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
never in your
Never.
favor.
I like
Yeah.
what KK Heng says. So Aladdin's genie is a kind of Saka. Yes, sir. Aladdin's genie is actually based on the Jinn story. It's just made into by Disney or adapted by Disney into a fun cartoon where Aladdin's in control and the genie is a very nice guy who goes, "You never ever had a friend like me, dum 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 dum." But in
Yeah.
real life, you
They
never
they
had.
normalized it.
You
Yeah.
never ever
So-
will have a friend like me.
So
Yeah.
if anybody hear this, whatever Eugene said now and say you're gonna like have a friend like me, you when you get a Saka in your house, it's not gonna look like Will Smith. That I promise you. It will never. It will not be in blue color. It will not be fun. It will not be singing to you. It may be singing to you, but not definitely not that tone. So I wanted to say again what I said last week. Whatever it is, if you wanted to go after a girl, go the normal way. If you want to have your success in your career, your business, do it the proper way. If it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. Don't get involved in the black magics or get involved with the supernatural power to help you, because again, it's just not worth it.
I want to ask a question, Ken.
Yeah.
You know how you said that in the larger scheme of things, these entities or beings, they feed, they are being fed. Do they feed on negative energy? Let's say, for instance, when you break up with somebody or you fight with someone, there's a lot of negative energy, but it's still energy. Do they feed on that energy?
Sorry, coming in. I was reading the comment section. It was really interesting, but carry on. Repeat
No,
the
it's
story.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let me answer Sonia. We do not know whether these whether the whole thing works like that or not, because like what Joe mentioned earlier on, it could be like, for example, it could be like this. Jinn is a whole race, right? But there's a lot of different types of them. So it might be some their purpose is to get people's life, and some are just feeding on people's fear or negative energy. So I believe this goes to a different section of different types of them, although they are all under the same category, jinn. But yeah, I felt that they have different purposes that they serve. So yeah,
Because if you
I
look
think
at all,
that
all of
is.
those things, right, they cause discord. Do they
Yeah.
then feed off of that negative energy that arise from such,
Or
Yeah.
maybe they're just attracted to it because that kind of energy is something that resonates so closely with them.
Yeah.
Like when you take two tuning forks and you kind of bring them together, they both resonate at the same kind of frequency. And I'm wondering if it's like that. Not the fact that maybe it's not that they come and Pac-Man, they go nah, 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 they go eat the energy, but rather when something vibrates in that way, you bring something close to that. Something vibrates in the same way as that.
Yeah.
We
Just
were talking about something else before the show
before.
about this. So now I cannot focus on whenever Joe do this, and it vibrates here and vibrates here.
Yeah.
I
Kim,
couldn't-
Eugene, and I were saying that this is 6 inches.
Yeah.
That's the 6 inches. Okay, just say
what kind of measurements are you using? My God.
the correct ones.
The Asian measurement.
The Asian measurement.
Okay, so I think that's pretty much about Know Your Hunter. We still have another confession, but we don't have the time. So Eugene, I think we better go to the next one.
Thank you for that, Kim. The final confessions for tonight, now it's 11:13, by the way, is the Mutiara Hotel by Secolastica. This one is voiced by the second sexiest voice in whole of Supernatural Confessions, Sonia Kurana. Elvin, take it away.
We Could Have Knocked First by Secolastica Poe. My story that happened at Mutiara Beach Resort Penang might not be as exciting as others, but I'm just sharing what happened. My memory faded, so I will just tell from what I remember. For your information, the tsunami occurred on the 26th of December 2004, and I went on the Penang trip in 2005. Rumor has it that there was a lot of death at the hotel during that period, so here is my story. I'm a Malaysian, raised in Terengganu, and after my SPM, I moved to Kampar, Perak, to continue my studies in hospitality and tourism in TARC, now known as UTRA. During my first semester year, the college arranged a trip to Penang, and I remember arriving at this hotel in the afternoon. As a teenager, everyone was excited and making a huge hoo-ha. We got the family room, and I believe they connected 2 rooms together with a big balcony. So, as a student, everyone was so excited about it. No one actually followed the rules of knocking the door before opening the hotel room, flushing the toilet, etc. My classmates all rushed in, making loud sounds and noises, jumping on the bed, laughing around, almost every evening. All of us went down for dinner, and that is when things get a bit spooky. As teenagers, they brought along poker cards, and while they were playing in the other room, the other group of us was in the other room. We decided to play a game like catching chicken or something like that, but I can't remember now, and we decided to not turn the lights on, as there were lights from the other room. I'm not sure why one of my classmates took the white sheet from the bed and wrapped himself from head to toe, only showing his face. Then all of us were on the bed, and suddenly he just jumped and did a roaring sound. Other girls were shocked by that and ran away, but I was stunned and couldn't move. I looked at him straight in the eyes, and I swear it was bloodshot red. He was inches away when my classmate dragged me from the bed, and we ran into the other room where the other boys were playing poker, and we closed the door. I don't quite remember what happened after that, because all I remembered was I was sitting on the chair and looking at the door, shivering in fear, because I feared he would suddenly come into the room. Then after a while, what we did was every one of us kneeled down, facing towards the balcony and sincerely apologizing to whoever or whatever is in the room. I think nothing happened after that, because I have no memories of the next episode of Scary Encounters. And that is my scary encounter, staying in Mutiara Resort Hotel, Penang.
Hotel resort. That hotel, I think, has popped up on my radar a couple of times. People have mentioned
It has.
Mutiara Hotel, right?
I remember that. Yeah.
You guys, what's the stuff that you remember, Joe? Mutiara?
Someone had posted something about same thing about going there to stay and like seeing entities, because I remember that name Mutiara, because it's quite a memorable name.
Oh, what happened to?
It's abandoned. So this hotel is abandoned. I'm just kind of checking it out. It's the abandoned Penang Mutiara Hotel.
I remember one of the story that I mentioned about the same hotel. Because there was a trend that time posting in that in our group whereby everybody was sharing their own experience. So I remember one of the confessors story was they were just passing by the hotel. They were just passing by because the hotel is already abandoned, like the one that you see now in the picture of Google. So it's already abandoned. So they were just passing by, and then suddenly I think one of the friend saw lights inside. I said, somebody is with a torchlight or something like that. So him with his filthy mouth said, "Wow, the ghost must be having a party lah inside, so much fun." And then something happened to him, and I think he somehow it was just quiet all of a sudden, and then after that he started to do something to harm himself. Then after that, the friend actually brought him back to where he said what he said, and actually asked him to apologize. And the rest of friends also apologized at the same time and said because of his filthy mouth and stuff like that happened. So that was the one that I remember. It's also the same hotel.
I find ghosts to be much more forgiving than humans. You go over there, you say you're sorry, I've done wrong, and then they okay, cool.
Okay, no worries. Yeah.
Yeah, we're cool now. We're chill, bro.
And for human, we bring our anger for until the next generation, right?
No. I get over in 5 seconds. I know people take 3 days, 2 days, overnight, something a week long, and then they mull over and over and over again. Sometimes they can't even sleep. Oh man, I don't know. Sometimes dealing with ghosts is easier than dealing with human beings, I would say.
Preach, brother, preach.
It sounds like you've been ghosted.
Oh.
No. Only young people get ghosted. Back in our era, no one that term didn't even exist.
Nah.
Yeah.
Double ticked.
So okay, when it comes to hotel stories, guys, you know where I stand. I think along with some of the viewers that we have tonight, people just said all hotels are haunted. You give me a hotel story and it's a ghost story, I'm gonna go, yeah. I know. Hotel story, right? Haunted, right? Yeah, confirm. Must be the hantu.
Is there any explanation from the supernatural? Because I'm staying on Eugene's side as well. You know, all hotels are. I mean, there are some hotels that is dirtier than a lot more others, but like Mutiara, like that. That's why it's closed down, right? So, but there are some that is just mild. But I have not heard of one that is nothing happened there. I have not heard of one.
I mean, this particular one. Oh, we said the same thing.
I know. No, we're gonna go in the same direction, Sonia. So take the lead.
No, it's okay. You go ahead.
No, you go ahead lah.
Tak apalah, you go lah.
Okay lah, Kak. No. What I was going to say was that there was nothing in this story that really piqued my interest in terms of whether there was something supernatural happening. I think everything that happened in this story, in my opinion, couldn't be explained, right? And sometimes it is the reputation of things that can create stories.
It's a preconceived thing, isn't it?
Yeah, we have biases, right?
Yes.
Like if no one told me a room was haunted, and suddenly a book fell off from the bookshelf, I will have a tendency to go, oh, you know what, geez, I didn't place that book properly, it fell down. Right?
Wow. The ability
what happened?
I don't know. I would think a book falls off my shelf, straight up, first thought is the hantu.
Oh, it happened. I was at my friend's place today, and it happened. She closed the door, and then the book just jumps off the shelf. And then she said, "Oh my God, it happens all the time. It's always the same book, and it's always the same position." And then, but then, like the hantu camp would go, "Oh, it's the hantu."
Yeah.
Hey, I tested it out. So we put the book back, then I close the door, and then the book jumps. So you know what? Unless you can indefinitely prove it, or
it's vibrations.
Vibrations.
Next time try to put the book in a different position. Yeah, if you close the door, then that book still falls off, then we have a confession that we had on interview.
Yeah, but in this case it clearly was, right? And then with hotel rooms, and in the story they talked about how great tragedy had happened, right? Penang suffered, that coast suffered during the Boxing Day tsunami. So you already have these stories in your head. So many people died. It must have been horrendous, horrible death, being crushed by things as the water came into the rooms, drowning. These are all very painful ways to die. So you come in with that thought process, and in all of that already. It can't possibly be easy. You come in with those thoughts.
Oh, well, okay. So this one, I think is divided down the line. There is a lot of explanation that can go on for a hantu story like that, because unless a story really have all the dots and details that is ironclad, Most of these hotel stories, school stories, army stories, they're interesting stories, of course. We love every single one of them, but it's always going to fall into one or the other camp, right? But it's really number 22, and we have a awesome show tonight, featured at 11:30. Also, the Confessor, Arfat, is online right now.
Hey, Afat.
He's been chatting with people. He has already introduced himself just now, so I know he's not going for anonymity. His name is Dilly Boy Official on the group chat right now. You can go and talk to him. We want to show Arfat's promo for tonight. Alvin, take it away.
Kau nak berbicara tidak? Kau nak berbicara tidak? Kau nak berbicara tidak?
Yeah, I always burp. Literally always burp. The kakak that treat me right, say that whenever you burp right, it's an indication that they are there. Yeah.
So they are here right now knowing that we're having this interview.
Maybe, but the thing is that they don't disturb anyone else. They don't bother other people. They just bother me in a way whereby they won't like show themselves. They won't like appear where we can see them or what. But it's just like in me lah. It's really hard to explain because I myself don't believe in such things. And then when it comes to kena myself, so I was like, it's very hard for me to find an answer to it.
I forgot to tell you guys that the footage may be disturbing to some, so viewers' discretion is advised.
after the video is out.
That's why.
Okay. Arfat is still suffering from the afflictions. The gene,
Unfortunately, yeah.
the genes are still in him. But I find that he has a very positive demeanor. He takes it as it comes. He says, "What can I do? I've been trying to help. I've been praying, but it's still there." And he finds. I'm glad he finds. He's able to make light of the matter, and he is. Oh, you see him laughing on the confession, guys, but he's not having a good time in life. In fact, he has attempted suicide 15 times. If you look at the feature later on, before 2017 and after 2017, the changes were enormous. He has gone through a bit of transformation. And in this feature confession tonight, it's about black magic being cast, a curse being put on someone because of business rivalry. And not all curses can be easily removed. Even after you go see spiritual masters, they take. He told me it can take up to 10 years, and then it's maybe. And there's not just one in him, but legion, 11 of them in him right now taking turns. And the whole point of this gene is not to kill him. They don't want to kill him. They're going to destroy him from inside out and make him want to kill himself. That is some kind of really whacked way of putting a curse on somebody.
Yeah. I also wanted to say again, ladies and gentlemen watching this, Arfat is together with us in the comment section. Whatever that you see on the video, it's have been done by the force that we cannot be seen. There's a lot of us, even Sonia, who have seen Arfat herself. It's a lot of things that it cannot be explained because he have seen the doctors. He have went to hospitals numerous times. There are no scientific ways to explain what happened to him. Whatever that you see, how he looked like now. Later in the video at 11:30 on the premiere, we're gonna show you how Arfat looked like before. And it's a really, really big changes, and it's a terrible times that Arfat is going now. I think I can, on behalf of the whole team of Supernatural, the whole family of Supernatural Confessions, Arfat, stay strong, and always keep God in mind, and whatever it is, God's will, hopefully that He will help, because I, as the person who just edit the video, right? I just edit the video. I just need to cut it, and then Eugene sent me all the things that Arfat sent to him. throughout the whole process of cutting it, me myself felt really, really bad, really, really heavy, and we have nothing to offer to Afad but to really wish you, hopefully everything will be well soon.
Yes, I was there when we were filming it, you know. Afad, my heart goes out to you. Listening to your story, it broke my heart. And then seeing your before picture, strapping young, handsome man, and you know, being there, feeling, listening. Ah,
And whether anyone believes it or not, whether they believe it's supernatural, whether they believe it's psychological, I think we can all agree that someone is suffering and
yes,
that we need to have compassion for that.
Yeah.
yes.
Woo! So it's been a wonderful, sharing session with you guys every Friday. We are here every Friday, 10 p.m., 11:30, week after week, and people have asked us when, because you know that we're going to take a short break after our last show for this season for 2021 will be on the 29th of October. That's a Friday before Halloween, and every year Halloween. We just take a short break and we come back at the end of the year around December. We may pop by, from time to time with an impromptu live stream show. But we will be taking a break. We're going to make some changes. Obviously, upgrading our system, getting new cameras, getting new setup is priority. In fact, if we have seen how we first started off 2 years ago, it was just some lousy, cheapo camera, maybe like even my laptop screen, no mics, nothing. And then what you get us today with a little bit more posh setup. And we always take that challenge to the next level. And it's always because of you guys who have been encouraging us, watching us week after week, giving us your support, that this was even possible. And when you asked me 2 years ago, when will I ever stop Supernatural Confessions? I said, when the confessions stop coming in, I will stop the show. And today, that has never happened. So thank you all so much for contacting me, giving me your stories. As always, if you want to send me your story, supernaturalconfessions.com is the place to go to. Check out the link. You can actually WhatsApp me. My phone number is there, guys, on the website. So that's how open and transparent I am. Because being involved in Supernatural Confessions, my entire aim is to destigmatize the whole idea that haunting and possessions and afflictions, supernatural afflictions, is something embarrassed to talk about. No, I put my number there. Contact me, message me, text, send me your mail, send me your message, whatever. Supernaturalconfessions.com. Just get in touch with me, okay? So we have come to the end of today's Friday Night Live show. We will be back again next Friday, hopefully with better technical support this time, stream strength. But 11:30 now, we're going to head off to the next show right after this. But before that, let's say goodbye first, Joe.
Once again, guys, SC would not be anywhere without the fans and the family. So thank you so much for joining us every Friday night and every day. Keep the Facebook kind of posts coming. And, I think the more you delve into the supernatural and the paranormal, there are more questions and very rarely are there answers. Thanks, guys.
Sonia.
Oh, me. Okay. So, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. You are the reason we are here in the first place. I'll see you guys on Thursday for Where is Ichi? And let me just say that I usually have a super rational explanation or reason for most things, but that's debatable, isn't it?
Weeks after weeks, Sonia's moss is getting longer and longer and longer. So hopefully it will slowly become almost a very few. Then hopefully one day she will stood on our side and say it must be the hantu.
Oh. Well,
so thank you very much.
You can wish.
we can wish. We can always wish like a normal person. We will never get a Saka to change.
Yeah, don't do that. Never do that.
Yeah, never do that. Never. Don't do that. Okay,
once
again, ladies and gentlemen.
I have sharp things.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening in. Every Friday is like any other Friday. It's always been great and fun. Although today is a little bit heavy. and the story and the video also that we're gonna see later on. So remember, next week is Wei Chichi, right? Thursday. Remember to tune in. And the good news happening with Elvin, me, and Joe that we're gonna release it very, very soon. Once again, I'm Kim. Thank you very much for listening in. And whatever you don't see doesn't mean it is not there.
My name is Eugene. Good night. You're not alone. All right. See you guys next week.
Bye.
Wednesday, watch the next show.
Bye.
What did you find? You are listening to Supernatural Confessions.